Morning guys and welcome back to I Like Watches. I've only gone and bought the new Hamilton Murph 38mm because, well, enough of you emailed me asking me to review this watch. Francis and Gaye were offering 10% off this puppy over the weekend. I think they're still offering 10% off actually, so if you're interested in this watch, head over to their website. What am I going to do with this watch when I'm done with it? I don't know, I might keep it if it's that impressive. I do have someone interested in buying it off me, but if they don't and I want to sell it, I might put it on my eBay store. But in this video, I want to run through a few important facts that you should know about this watch, and then I'm going to head over to the light box, show you the watch in lots of detail, and then at the end I'll run through all the facts, figures, stats and specifications for those interested. Right, let's get into it. Now, I'm sure most of you are familiar with this watch and the reasons it's surrounded by so much hype at the moment, but you never know. There might be a handful of people out there watching this video, seeing this watch for the very first time, so for your benefit, I've made a list of facts to help get you up to speed. The original 42mm watch was a very accurate homage or recreation of a watch used in an awesome sci-fi movie called Interstellar. If you haven't seen the movie, I strongly recommend you watch it, but shortly after that 42mm watch was released onto the market, there was a little bit of backlash from people saying it's too big, we want a smaller watch. So here we are, they've now released a 38mm version. Now, unfortunately, when this watch arrived, I was a tad disappointed because I was hoping it was going to turn up in the awesome limited edition Interstellar box that the first 100 watches in the 42mm size came in, but yeah, this one has just come in a normal Hamilton box. And there is one other difference between the 38mm and the 42mm version. The original 42mm watch had the word Eureka printed on the seconds hand in Morse code. Yeah, they've left that off this 38mm version, which is a bit of a shame, I think. Now, they have used the same automatic movement in both watches, so the case thicknesses are identical. It's just the smaller watches shorter and, well, smaller. And the movement inside this watch is the Hamilton H10 automatic with an 80-hour power reserve, which, as I'm sure you're aware, is almost the same as the Powermatic 80 by Tissot. Now, interestingly, they've priced the smaller watch cheaper at £820. I think it retails for $890. But as I've already mentioned, Francis and Gaye are offering 10% off this watch. It's a new release as well, so that was a surprise. You can pick it up from their store. £738. Well, I feel I should start by showing you the watch on my roughly average 7¼ inch-ish wrist because, well, the whole reason this watch exists is because the original 42mm version was perhaps a touch too big for people who have wrists, well, roughly the same size as mine. Yeah, 42mm for me, anyway, would be too big, which is why I showed little interest in the original watch. But this, I have to say, is a beautiful size, and I do think it is a fantastic looking watch. On the whole, Hamilton make good looking watches, but this one for me is one of the best looking Hamilton watches I've seen, actually. So yeah, they've definitely produced a good looking watch for the film. But with a recommended price tag of £820, I'm left asking myself, would this watch get any attention if it wasn't for the film? And as much as it is probably one of the best looking Hamilton watches I've seen, yeah, I'm not convinced it would actually, because there are some other incredible looking Hamilton watches for quite a bit less money. But anyway, it is linked to that film, and that is the reason why there is so much fuss about this watch at the moment. So not only does it look good, but it's actually pretty comfortable, great weight. The leather strap is actually okay. It was a little bit stiff. I just spent a couple of minutes rolling it between my fingers, and now it conforms very nicely to my wrist. So yeah, I'm not a fan of these sort of shiny faux croc leather straps, but I like the contrasting stitching. The buckle is very, very nice. It does feel like a very good quality strap, but yeah, I would definitely put this on other straps if I was going to wear it fairly regularly. Right, now it's off my wrist, we can zoom in a little and have a good close look at this Hamilton khaki field watch. It says automatic on the dial, and there is the automatic movement inside this watch. Beating at 21,600 beats per hour. I've put mine on the time grapher and it's running fantastically well, actually. Incredible accuracy, beat error and amplitude. It's almost perfect. Good job really, because there's no levers on this movement for you to adjust the accuracy yourselves. They come out the factory all pre-calibrated and running nicely, and I can confirm this one is running very, very nicely. It is a very pretty watch, isn't it? Beautiful watch, actually. Incredible proportions. I love the look of it. I love the dial. I love the hands. I love the case shape as well. There's not a lot to dislike. I'm not a massive fan of the strap, but everything going on with the case is lovely. I have zoomed in and taken some macro shots of this watch, and the finishing looks very, very good. The brushing on top of the case is fairly coarse. It's not really coarse. It's just a little bit more coarse than I would describe as being a sort of soft satin brushing. But the polished bezel looks very, very nicely done. And overall, it looks like a very well finished watch. Even the buckle is beautifully finished. Look at that. Really, really nice. I also really like that faux patina looking print on the dial, and they've matched it to the lume very nicely as well. Yeah, I think it really suits the watch. The dial is very dark. It's a very, very dark grey. It's not quite black, is it? But yeah, it's just a great looking watch. Love the hands. They're a sort of white, silvery white cathedral set of hands. Nice long second hand reaching right out to that minute track. And as you can see, it's just gone past the Swiss made at the bottom of the dial. Display case back as well, which is nice, and they've done a good job of decorating that rotor as well. Look, you've got some specifications on the steel part of the case back, screw down case back, and a pull push crown. Giving the watch 100 meters of water resistance, which is actually more than adequate for this watch. So you could definitely go swimming with it and snorkeling to some degree. I just wouldn't dive too deep with it, but that crown, I've got to say, feels really snug. So whatever they're using to hold that crown in position and I guess keep the movement dry is obviously working very well, because that feels like a very, very nice crown action. And the crown's a decent size as well, very easy to use. Any bigger and I think it might look out of proportion. Hamilton do tend to put, I wouldn't say oversized crowns on some of their watches, but some of their field watches do have, well-sized crowns, shall we say, and this one is, about as big as I want it to be, but yeah, very, very easy to use, good size, great grip, and just a great looking watch, isn't it? Now the strap, I'm not completely convinced by the strap. I know they're putting a strap on this watch that was used basically in the film, so I understand why they've done it, but it's just not the sort of strap I would want to wear this watch on. But yeah, at least it's in keeping with the watch that was in the film. Now, before I break out the calipers and the weighing scales, let me show you the lume on this watch. It is printed on the dial, so I don't expect it to last as long as, dive watches that have applied indices infilled with lume. And the lume on the hands does, very quickly look stronger than the lume on the dial. So I don't suspect the lume is record breaking. I don't think it's going to be bad looking at it. But yeah, the lume on the hands does look pretty good. I think the lume on the dial is going to fade quickly. Right, let's get you some measurements. The case diameter is, pretty much bang on 38, look. Thickness, including the crystal, 11.2. Case length is 44.2, and we have 20mm lugs. And what about the strap? Any taper? It does taper down to, roughly 18mm. And on the supplied strap, it now weighs 66 grams. Right, let's test the front crystal. It is sapphire crystal, a piece of double-domed sapphire crystal. Some subtle domage and great clarity through to the dial at a tight angle. What about the crystal on the back? Sapphire sandwich, yes or no? Oh no, mineral crystal on the back. Boo. Well, there you go. That is the new 38mm Murph by Hamilton. I am thrilled to have been able to get one of these in for review. Some light tingles from this watch. I totally and utterly understand why there is so much buzz and excitement about this watch. Great that Hamilton, I have to say, are looking at feedback from customers and responding by producing the watch that people are asking for. But light tingles, but not enough to justify me keeping this watch, given what I've spent on it to get it in for review. I'm almost certainly going to be passing this one on to someone else to enjoy. But still, an incredible watch. And if you pick one up, I can totally see why. Let me know what you think of it, guys, in the comments section. And as always, a massive thank you from me to you for tuning in and watching to the end. I appreciate it. Alright guys, take care, look after yourselves. You'll see me again very, very soon.